Very good morning. Today we are starting with the very next lecture, lecture number 10 for modes of transportation. The last lecture we have been discussed about logistic, and today we are going to discuss about what are the different modes of transportation. Before starting the modes of transportation system, we should have basic idea about what is all about the international transport system. As we know, transportation is refers to the movement of product from one location to the another. Suppose that we supply chain is just possible just because of the right transportation, because from the transportation, what actually we are doing, we are moving the goods from supplier to the manufacturer to the wholesaler to retailer to the final customer. So it's start from the very beginning of the die of supply chain to the final consumer's hands. Transportation plays a key role in every supply chain because products are rarely produced and consumers in the same location. It's a very next to impossible, or it's a very rarely produced like this. Suppose that customers are sitting at the same place where the products are producing, so it's a very rarely combination actually. So that is the thing, transportation plays a very vital role. Transportation is an integral part of logistics. I've been told you in a last lecture also that transportation, without the transportation, logistics is not part. Not logistics is not possible. So transportation is an integral part of logistics. In case of the international business, what actually we are reading, where the suppliers of the goods and his or her customers are situated for apart, transportation is a vital link in the entire supply chain. Without the transportation, we cannot link up the customers who is actually sitting at a US or sitting at a Europe or sitting at a South Africa or South America. That is the thing. What actually we can how actually we can provide this our respective product to the respective customer. So that can be possible just because of the supply chain management, just because of the right transportation. What actually we are using in a supply chain management. Got it? Transportation doesn't merely provide movement to the goods, but a high quality transport system add value to the goods. Yes, quite satisfactory line which is written here. Transportation, it doesn't merely provide movement to the goods, it is also deal with the high quality transport system add value to the goods. Because if suppose that the product is reaching on time to the customer, so it might create certain value addition to the product and services. And if your transportation service is very safe, so your product will be safe, there will not be any defect, there will not be any damages. So automatically transportation system gives the value addition to your product and services, right? In the age of just in time inventory system, I've been told you just in time has been started by the Toyota. Just in time is it's all about without keeping the inventory in the stock. Whenever we are requiring any inventory, we are ordering those inventory. So it's a very risky, but even though in the age of just-in-time inventory or GIT in a short form, we are writing like this. Inventory system, efficient transport system keep the assembly line of manufacturing company continuously feed with the raw material, spare part and components. So in the era of just in time and inventory system efficient, because suppose that you just want to be maintained just in time, so they should have the efficient transportation system. So there should not be any disruption of the supply chain management. There should not be any disruption of the manufacturing or assembly line. Due to the technology movement, due to the technological advancement, a variety to the options are available for transporting the goods. Yes, as we know, we have the numerous number of the transportation modes are available in the market. So many a time a single mode of transportation is not adequate for the speedy and efficient movement of cargo. Due to yes, sometimes what actually happen, we are requiring the multimodal transportation system. Sometimes we have to reaching to the final customer, sometimes we have to use the more than one transportation system. Sometimes sometimes from plant to seaport we have to use the road transport from sea from port to final customer, yeah, final importing authority, that is called ship. So sometimes we have to be use the multi-model of transportation system also if it's not adequate for the speedy and efficient movement of cargo. In such a case, the cargo has to use multiple modes of transportation. Some of the popular modes of transportation are as follows. Okay, got it. So due to due to technological advancement, we have a numerous number of the transportations options are available in the market. And many not in a, sometimes and many times we have to be what actually we have to do, we have to use a multiple models of transportation. Firstly, we are talking about the air transport. Okay. Air transport is resorted to only in case of absolute necessity or urgency. Whenever you are having the high quality, high volume, high value with a low volume, or absolute necessity or urgency. Even in these many conditions, we are using the air transport. Air transport is resorted in case of absolute necessity or urgency. Two factors are responsible for infrequent use of air transportation in India. First is the cost of air freighting, which is very high compared to the other modes of transportation. Yes, we know, because in terms of the air transport, the costing of the freight is which is very high compared to the other modes of transportation which is actually available in the market. Second factor is the lack of connectivity by air to international and domestic destination. Yes, sometimes it is also one of the main reason behind it. In a respect, whenever we are talking about the international businesses, in many countries or many cities, still airports and air connectivities are not available. India has approximately 123 commercial airports, including 34 international airports. It still leaves a large part of the country unconnected by the air. Exporters of perishables such as fruits, vegetables, flowers stiffer due to the lack of air connectivity. Large quantity of food products pass in India every year, which if exported could bring in a precious foreign exchange for the country. The absence of necessary infra is costing the nation heavily. Yes, as we know, India is the largest producer of fruits, vegetables, flour, but due to the lack of the air connectivity, we are not able to export those items. Apart from these many things, we have some product which is high value at a low volume. Even though due to the less air connectivities in across the tier 2 city or tier 3 cities, that is the only reasons we are not able to we are not able to what actually we do, we are not able to export those goods and services. And if suppose that if exported could bring, if suppose that we are able to export those goods and services due to the through the good infra, then what actually can be happen? It brings the precious foreign exchange for the country. In the last 2 years, 3 years, we have been seen we have a maximum number of the foreign exchange since independence, just because of the infra has been improved in the last 5 years, 6 years. Airport, it used to be the 50, 60 airports in 2014. Now it became 123 airports. It used to be the 11 airport in 2010, 11 international airport. Now we have around 34 international airport. So that is the thing. Indian government also investing the massively investment on the infra, so we can, if infra will be improved, then export will be improved. So air transportation we are doing in only such condition where the absolute necessity or urgency, or high volume at the low price, high value at the low price, low volume, or in case of the perishable items where the you cannot keep the product and services for a very long period. The biggest advantage of air transportation is speed. Modern commercial aircraft travel at very high speed, but the average speed of the journey between one airport to the another is somewhat less than flying speed due to the lower speed during taxiing on the runway and the ascent and descent in the aircraft. Even though taxiing on the runway and the ascent and descent in the airport, even though the biggest advantage of air transportation is the very speed. Suppose that you are able to export your goods and services to the final customer at a very quicker time, then what will happen? You will receive a money in a very frequent manner. So that is the thing. That is the only reasons we are opting for the air transport because the chances of non-payment is very less, because within the few hours you can reach out, you can send a product from one place to the other place. Air service, however, depend on various factors, yes, as we know, such as mechanical backgrounds, weather condition, and traffic congestion at the airport. Due to this factor, the reliability of air transport system often comes under the question. Yes, this is the main problems of India, because due to the traffic has been in air traffic has been increased. Sometimes we are not able to get the time for, there is a traffic congestion in our air also. So sometimes we are not getting the proper time to land out your aircraft at the airport. Even the weather condition in a somehow in a some many in many states and many cities, somehow weather condition is very bad. So these are the problems we have to be faced, and this due to these many items and many things, um, air transport often comes under the questions. Also, the physical dimensions and the load carrying capacities of an aircraft but constrain the utility of air transport in many cases. For example, Boeing 747, Jumbo Jet, and Lockheed 500 aircraft can hit 125 to 150 tons of cargo. But of the attraction of the air transportation is lesser incidence of loss or damage during the transit. Yeah, because it takes a very less time. It is a fact that claims against loss and damage during air transit are much less than surface transport, such as ship, trains, or trucks. Due to this, air cargo needs less protective and therefore less expensive packaging. Insurance companies also consider air cargo less risky as compared to the cargo traveling by surface transport, and therefore they charge lesser premiums on the air cargo. Yes, because because delivery time is very lesser as compared to the other delivery modes. That is the thing. That is the thing. Chances of damages is very less during the air transit. That is the only reasons ki air, that is the only reason insurance companies like thinking like this, because they have very less risky. They think like this, air cargo is less risky as compared to the cargo traveling by surface transport. That is the only reason they are charging the lesser premiums on the air cargo. Second is the ocean transport. That or yeah, transport by transport by sea or ship. You can see these two images where the containers are loaded on a ship. Ocean transport. Ocean transport we follows where the high volume, low price, the cheapest. Ocean transportation transport since antiquity. Sea routes are being used for transportation of cargo from one continent or country to the another. More than 95% of international trade is conducted by sea routes in India. Maritime transport, a key constitutes to the trade and economic growth in India, contribute 90% in terms of volume and 70% in terms of value. India has 12 major and 184 minor intermediate ports spread across its vast coastline of 7,570 km. Coastal shipping is used for transporting cargo from one port within the country to the another country. For example, in India, the cargo can be transported from Chennai port to the Visakhapatnam port using the coastal shipping route. So we have some certain coastal shipping route within the India also, within or across the globe also. So whenever we have the high volume of the product and services but a low price, and then only we are using the ocean transport. Sea routes are used for carrying the bulk commodities. I've been already told you, such as cooking and thermal coils, oils, grains, fertilizers, rock phosphate, or and liquid cargo such as crude oil, ammonia, acid, among others. Ideally, goods with a high volume and the low value. I've been already told you this particular line. High volume and low values are suited for ocean transport. The value of the goods and services is very low, but volume of the product and services is very high. During in these conditions, we always use the ocean transport. In the era of the containerization, even high value cargo can be safely transported within the containers over a long distance. As we know, technology has been updated. Technology has enabled the cargo carrying the capacity of sea to increase manifold. In 1956, the first containerized shipping belonging to the Sea Land Corps carried 58 and 20 feet containers. Modern ships have the capacity to carry 7,000 such containers. 7,000 such containers. One of the biggest ship owned by the Masters Sea Land is 1138 feet long from and end to end and but 40 feet wide at mid-sea. Such ships are called post-Panamax ships. So due to technological advancement, due to the technological infra has been improved so far in the last 20-25 years. It used to be the 20 feet containers, and it used to be the 58. It used to be only the 58 feet ship. But right now we have around more than such as 20 feet container. We can put it down 7,000 such container. So that is a massively infra has been improved so far. So one of the biggest ship owned by Masters Sea Land is 1138 feet along from end to end and 140 feet wide at a mid ship. Such ship is called post Panamax ship. Please note down this point. Now there is some certain data we have. Cargo traffic handled at a major port during up to January 2021. This is a very recent data I have been put it down here. Total cargo traffic at India's major port maritime transport activity driven by development in the world economy. That is growth in world output and trade. Thus, volume of seaborne cargo traffic handled by port mainly shaped by the labels and change in both the global and domestic activities. Cargo traffic at India's 12 major ports during the April-June 2021 decreased by 7.6 due to the COVID-19 into 5.541.76 million tons from 586.25 million tons cargo handled during the April January 1920. As we know, in the last year we have to face certain COVID situations, that was a full lockdown in across the country. Not even across the country, across the world also, most of the countries were facing certain COVID crisis. So that is the thing. There was very decrease in export. The overseas cargo handled as a major port decreased by 5.6 from 447.97 million tons during the April 1920 to 422.87 million tons handled during the April January 2021. So these all other data has been decreased due to the COVID-19, so no need to worry. The coastal cargoes handled at a major port decreased by 14% from 138.5 million tons during April January 1920 to 118.88 million tons handled during the April January 2021. So that is the thing we have been seeing, that millions of tons has been reduced and decreased just because of COVID-19. Now, if we are talking about the port-wise cargo traffic handled during the January 2021, cargo handles at India's major port during January 2021 is 64.38 million tons, showing an increase of 4.5 as compared to the corresponding period of the previous year. The coastal cargo handled at a major port during January 2021 decreased by 4.5 from 14.72 million tons in January 2020 to 14.06 million tons during January 2021. However, the overseas cargo handled at a major port increased by 7.4%. 50.32 million tons in January 21 as compared to the 46.87 million tons during January 2021. If we are further moving towards January 2021, Margamo port recorded as the highest growth of traffic handled 62.6, followed SPM Kolkata dock 31.5, Paradip port 14.3, Deen Dayal port 12.2, Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust JNPT 9.9, Cochin Port Trust 18.8, Chennai Port Trust 6.9. The major port which recorded negative growth in January, there were few states and there were few ports where we have recorded the negative growth also. And Kamaraja Port 21.0, Vizag Port Visakhapatnam 14.7, VOC Port 7.2, NMPT 5.8, Mumbai Port, because as we know Maharashtra was fully locked down, SPM Haldia Dock Complex by 1.8%. So these are the few ports, these are the 6-7 ports where we have been recorded the negative growth in January 2021. Still we had a lockdown. Among the 12 major ports, Paradip handled the maximum cargo traffic, that is around 11.17 million tons with a share of 17.3 in the total cargo handled at the major port, followed by the Deen Dayal 16.7, JNPT 10.1, Vizag Port 9.5, Mumbai Port 7.8, SPM Haldia Dock Complex 7.1, Chennai Port 6.6, Cochin Port 5.1, and MP. You just need to remember which port handled the maximum cargo traffic. That is called Paradip. NMPT 4.8, VOC Part 4.4, Margamo Port 4.1, Kamarajar 3.8, and SPM Kolkata Dock is 2.6. At a boat commodity level, if we are talking about food grains excluding the pulses, achieved the highest growth of 749.9 in January. If we are talking about as for the commodity, which commodity? So that is called highest growth of pulses achieved the highest growth of 740.9% in January 2021, followed by pulses 134.1. Coking coil 32.2, LPG or LNG 23.4, FRM dry 13.8, iron ore 12.3, fertilizer 11.4, fuel crude 11.3, FRM liquid 11, cement 7.9, containers 6.5, edible oil 6.2. Other commodities we had 5.8 and other coils 2.7. So at a broad commodity level, if we are talking about POL, crude handled the maximum cargo traffic, that is about 14.22 million tons in January 2021 with a share of 222.1, followed by the containers 21.4, iron 9.8, thermal 9.6, other commodities 8.4, POL products 7.5, coal coking 6.1, other coal 5.0, LPG LNG 2.0, fertilizers 1.5, edible oil 1.4, FRM dry 1.3, FRM liquid 0.9, iron and steel 0.9, each other areas, food grains excluding pulses, cement 0.6, each in sugar project, cargo and pulses 0.10 each. You can port wise share of cargo handled during the April January 21-20. You can watch out this. I'm just giving the 1 minute. Maximum number of port wise share of cargo handled during the April January 2021. Maximum DPT Capiti 17.6. Second number PPT Paradip 17.3. GNPT 9.5. MBPT 7.9. MPT 3.2. NMPT 5.3. CPT 4.6. VOC 4.9. I've been put it down in an Excel sheet and made it the graph. CHPT 6.4, KM 3.6, BPT 10.7, SPM Haldia, that is called 6.9, SPM KDS 2.2. So this is of graph of port wise share of cargo handled during the April January 2021. Okay, any doubt? Now major port wise monthly cargo traffic handled January 20, January 21, April January 1920, April January 2021. Okay, mostly are in a negative because just due to the COVID-19. SPM Kolkata, overseas coastal, yes, January 20 4756, coastal 11158, total 5913. Percentage share, that is called 10.1, coastal में in a coastal 7.9, total in a 9.6. In a January 2021 5864. I'm just giving the 5 minute, you can take it out. I'm just giving the 2-3 minute, you can read out this particular slide, you can see and take it out the screenshot. Okay, mostly they see it mostly are in a negative. The overseas coastal was almost closed due to the lockdown in India. Overseas all about the international, coastal is all about the domestic. We have the data of Caspian, Kolkata, KDS, SDC, Paradip, Vizag, Kamarajar, Chennai, and we have some 7 other port also. You can see coastals mostly are in a negative in terms of domestic. This is overseas, coastal, this is coastal area, this is coastal. Vijay have around 12.2% in January 2020, and in January 2021 it's just 9.51%. But in April 1920 it had around the 10.5%. In April January 2021 it's almost 10.5%. It is a minus 5.3% in a negatively. Chennai Again 7.3, 7.3, 8, it's almost consistent. Paradip 14.4, 16.2, 14.3, 16.4 in a positive actually. Kamarajar 3.3, 2.2, 2.6, 3.4, 2.6 consistent. KDS 2.3, 3.2, 2.7, 2.7. Further, we are moving towards, we have some BOC, Cochin, New Mangalore, Marmagao, Mumbai, GNPT, KPT, TPT. Here you can again give me the 2 minutes. It has been taken the data from Port Data Management Portal, PDMP, Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways. Here you can see the GNPT. In case of GNPT, it had 11.8, 11.7, 11.9, 11.2, minus 10.9. Consider KPT is 17.3, 18.8, overseas 19.8. Overseas but quite good because, but in terms of the coastal, in terms of the domestic, it has negatively 9.9, 9.9, 9.8, 10.8, minus 9.9. In the BOC also 4.9, 6.1, 5.3, 7.4, plus 20.7. Cochin 6.6, 8.6, 6.6, 7.5, minus 2. New Mangalore also overseas we are talking about 5.5 per, then 4.2, then 5.2, then 4.9. In terms of the coastal, that was around 6.2, then 7, then 5.7, then 7.0. Maragamo is start with the 3.2, 4.9, 2.7. In terms of the coastal, it has very less here. That is all about 0.9, 1.4, 0.9, 0.9. Mumbai is we call like the business capital of India. It has in a overseas 5.9, 5.1, 5.5, 6.5, and in terms of the domestically, it has 16.2, 16.1, 16.1. Most of the things are manufacturing and nearby Maharashtra. Now, overseas and coastal cargo traffic handled during the April-January 2021. Among the major ports, Dindayal Port handled the maximum overseas cargo of 82.94 million tons with a share of 19.6, followed by Paradip Port. 16.4, JNPT 11.2, Vizag, that is called Visakhapatnam Port 10.5, SPM Haldia Dock 7.5%, Chennai Port 7.2, Mumbai Port 5.6, NMPT 4.9, POC Port 4.2, Margao Port 3.8, Cochin Port 3.7, SPM Kolkata Docks 2.7, Kamarajar Port 2.6 during the April-January 2021. Now, port-wise share of overseas cargo. That is all about the overseas cargo. Again, giving the 1 minute, you can see it. Maximum number is all about TPT, KPT 19.6. The maximum number first. Second is all about 16.4 PPT. Third is GNPT Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust 11.2. Fourth is BPT 10.5. Then 7.5 fifth. 7.5 is SPM Aldia Port 7.5. That is called fifth. This is the sixth. Then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 4.2, 4.9, then 4.2, then 3. Then 5.6, 4.9, 4.2, 3.8, 3.7, then 2.7, then 2.6. So grab 2 port-wise share of overseas cargo handled during the April-January 2021. I have been putting down very latest data because of your understanding. As we know, in the last 2 years, start from the April 22 till date, Due to the COVID-19, it has been decreased. Now, second is the rail transport. Rail transport is basically suitable for carrying the raw materials, bulk commodities such as coal, grain. Rail transport basically we are using for domestic businesses. Domestic transport. Rail transport is basically suitable for carrying the raw materials, bulk commodities such as coal, grains, petroleum product, timber, oils, chemical over the long distance. It is estimated that more than 70% of the goods carried by the Indian Railway belongs to the state-owned enterprises. Major among these being Coal India Limited, Food Corporation of India Limited, Fertilizers Corporation of India, etc. for the past since last 20 years. Freight train have run at the average of 20 km, 23 km per hour. Now it has been increased up to the 38. With electrification, the modern locomotive, the average speed should have increased to 40 to 45. Yes, I have been told you, kilometer per hour. Rail transport is also plays a very vital roles in terms of the domestically transportation or some where the border classes are not there. So rail transportation in terms of rail transportation, whenever we have some carrying the raw materials or bulk commodities such as coal, grains, and petroleum product, we do always use the rail transport. Here you can see the image how to book the on-demand parcel train for good transportation. The relatively low speed and the shorter distance traveled by a railway wagon is due to the time spent is loading and unloading operations. The shunting of wagons within the station is premises for assembling wagons into the train, something giving way to more important passenger train. Sometimes in terms of what actually we do, we give the more preference to the goods train, but sometimes there are some special train where we have to we give the more importance to the passengers train, but not in all cases. Out of the total transit time of railway wagon between the point of origin and destination, more than 80% is spent in these activities. Yes, this is one of the major problems we have to be faced in terms of the rail transport. Yet railway is the most favored mode of transportation for majority of the privately owned enterprises, including exporters and importers in India. These companies look for speedy movement. These companies actually look for speedy movement of cargo with guaranteed arrivals and departures. Unfortunately, the Indian Railway doesn't provide such services. Some of the other disadvantages that are railway freight are not always the cheapest. Yes, one of the major reason. The cargo has to be delivered to and collect from railway station, which need an additional road transport facilities. Yes, we have to be send our goods to the railway station. That additionally we are requiring the road transport that will be including the costing also. Additional material handling is required. Yes, additional material handling is required during the transportation by railway. This is cumbersome as well as expensive. Other is various formalities and approvals are needed to go a railway siding, which is not always easy and it's time consuming, also tiring for an enterprise. Yes, because it's a fully government authority, so we have to be take the approvals of different from the different authorities. It's not quite easy, which actually we are understanding. It's a very time consuming also and very tiring for the enterprises. So sometimes what actually we do, we always prefer the road transport for the small distances, just like 500 kilometer or 1,000 kilometer. In many countries, the railway provide the professional services their customers along with excellent links to port and road network. Thus, linkage encourage exporters and importers to opt for the transportation of the cargo by the railway. Because there are certain linkage with the ports and the road network, that is the only reason sometimes we are preferring the railway cargo. Volume of freight carried by Indian Railway from financial year 2010 to 2020, millions metric tons. You can watch this. Financial year 2020, 892.22 million. Financial year 2020 to 2011, 90 is increasing order, 92.92 926.43. Financial year 2012, 97.975.16. Financial year 2030, 1014.15. FY 2014, 1058.81. FY 2015 financial year 2015, it used to be the 1101.3. Financial year 2016, it has been increasing since 2010. 16 17 1107, 18 1159.57, 19 22, 20, 12, 122, 1.39. In April, in a 1 month or 2 months, due to the lockdown, it has decreased by 2.1208.34. Volume of freight carried by Indian Railway from financial year 2010, it plays around very vital roles in terms of the domestic businesses. Last is, in the second last is road transport. Semi-finished and finished product at a medium spoil size and weight are ideally suited for transportation by trucks. Yes, sometimes we have some semi-finished items or finished product. We are using the road transport for medium and small size and weight are ideally suited by transportation by truck. The vast advantage of sending goods by trucks in the door-to-door services provided by them. Yes, because roads are available in the across the India, across the globe. That is the thing. We have some certain additional services we can provide to the importers. We can provide services to door-to-door services. Hence, once the cargo is loaded at the point of origin, it is unloaded directly at the destination. Yes, it saves time and money and also prevent the damages resulting from repeated handling of cargo. This is a distinct advantage of road transport over other modes of transportation. Another advantage is the road transport is that trucks can be hired on exclusively contract by shippers for their dedicated services. This facility of exclusively is not available with other mode of transport. We cannot hire the train, we cannot hire the plane, we cannot hire the ship. But here, exclusively for the transportation, we can hire certain trucks. Thirdly, road transport offers reasonably fast and dependable services for small consignment. Lastly, shipper needs only 10 to 12 tons of cargo to fill the truck. A railway wagon, on the other hand, demands more tons to be filled and will move on only when the entire good train is fully loaded. Yes, this is the one of the major advantage with the rail transports, because whenever they are the train, once the train will be fully loaded, then the train will be start. But in case of the road transport, whenever we have 10 to 12 tons of the cargo, we can fill out in a truck and it can start. So India has an extensive road network of 3.2 million kilometers. It comprises national highways 1,200, 1,24,300 kilometers, district road, emerald road, urban road, and special purpose roads for military ports, etc. So the geographical coverage of India's highway network 0.66 kilometer of highway per square kilometer of land compares favorably with that of US. The condition of the Indian road is not up to mark in terms of surface quality and land capacity, especially in the few states. But in a few states, quality of roads is up to the standard. But in a few states, just like UP, Bihar, and some of the Chhattisgarh and some of the eastern UP, where the roads quality, when the surface quality and land capacity, especially, is not good as compared to the developed country or developing country. So road transport plays a very vital role in terms of the small and medium sized cargo, and it is very reasonably fast and dependable services for small consignment. Last is inland waterway. The commercial utility of transportation for inland waterway in India is limited, basically because either the shipper must be located on the waterway or he or she has to transport the cargo at the waterhead by other means of transport. Because while using the inland waterway, we have to be use the multimodal transport, because for reaching the that particular goods to the at a inland waterway, we have to be use certain other what we call certain other transport mode. Another limitation posed by inland waterways in the average speed of waterway, which is 6 to 10 km per hour, which is very low, very less. That is among the lowest. That is among the lowest across all the transportation modes we have. This speed further reduced if the vessel travel against the direction of water flow. Yes. Weather also affect the water services. For example, during the monsoon season, when the rivers are flooded, it is not safe to ply boats on the waterways. During summer, when the water level depletes, waterways cannot be used by boats laden with the cargo. So monsoon also plays a very vital role. Apart from monsoon, we have some certain what we call, if suppose that you are running against the waves, so even though the speed of particular inland waterways is very slow, again other the river ports are also not as well equipped in terms of material handling equipment and other infra as seaport. All these factors severely limit the use of inland waterways in the country. As we know, infrastructure at a seaport is not are not up to mark. They don't have material handling, they don't have perfect material handling equipment. That also discourage the inland waterway. Considering the variety of modes of transportation available with its unique advantage and disadvantage, it is necessary for shipper to analyze various factors and choose the most appropriate mode of transportation for their cargo. So whatever the transportation modes are available in the market, what actually we have to do, we have to be analyze each and every transportation mode. After analyzing that transportation modes as per the various factors, and then we have to be choose the most appropriate mode of transportation for their cargo. So once again, thank you so much for joining. This is all about the 10th lecture. Once again, thank you so much.